Good Friday morning. This is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. We are working on our 289 build. Can't really do too much. Got the heads on their way to the head porter, and so is the intake. And the pistons are being made. A little bit of a lead time on those. I can, before I send the main bearings out to be coated, I want to check rod bearing clearances as well and see where we will stand with the clearances. May have to do a little polishing on the crank a little bit later, but we need to check and see where we are. I'm using SCAT. These are 5/400 length, standard small block Ford rod journal, 927 wrist pin diameter. These are I-beam rods. I generally, when I have a choice, I will reach for an I-beam rod. Most of your I-beam rods are lighter and the strength is still there. These rods will hold well over 500 horsepower with the 3/8 bolt that's in there. A lot of your aftermarket rods are really high-end stuff, such as your Oliver. Some of your Clerance rods are I-beam as well. So maybe a little bit of a myth. It depends on the manufacturer and the design, but it may be a little bit of a myth that H-beam rods are always the better choice. I don't believe that's the case. So we've got our crank sitting here, and I have already mic'd one of the rod journals. Every morning I reset, or I don't reset, I check my mics against the standard. This is a Mitutoyo, pretty high-end outside mic, and I will also check it periodically against some of my other, I guess, non-digital, manual, analog, whatever you want to call it, mics. I got some Mitutoyo and Brown & Sharp and some other ones that kind of checks and balances type deal. But we're going to be using some Clevite rod bearings, and like I said, we're going to check a bearing clearance. I'll probably check 2 of them and see where we are, and then I'll have a game plan for what to do after these bearings are coated. Okay, so we got our bearings in, our rods torqued, got our bore mic set to our outside mic, and we are getting about 1/8 on that rod. And about 1/8 on that rod. So the rods are pretty consistent as far as housing, bore housing, and the bearings are pretty consistent. So I would like to see about 2/1000 with a coated bearing. Coating usually takes 4 or 5/10 away from your clearance. So if we were at 1/8, we may get down to around 1/4, somewhere around that, and then I'm going to have to polish, pretty much have all the journals polished about 1/2 and that was pretty standard for the mains as well. So that'll be, you can always get a tolerance stack up, that sort of thing, but when these bearings come back from Calico, I will check them again, and I'm just going to plan on having to do some polishing on all the journals. All right, let me get cleaned up here, and then I got something else to show you. Okay, here is what I wanted to show. This is a factory style early 289-302 oil pan, and it's been modified. And we went back and forth on which oil pan to use on this. We had first decided to try to find one of the cast aluminum Cobra intakes, but it's very, very hard to clean and thoroughly clean the inside of an oil pan without introducing, some grit or whatever. You also end up paying wild money for original Cobra aluminum oil pans, and even the brand spanking new ones are $700. And then you get into dealing with cast aluminum. Cast aluminum isn't really all that stout, so if you happen to hit a rock or a speed bump or something like that, cast aluminum will chip, whereas something like this steel would dent, and you would rather have something dent than break off and chip or whatever. So that was one of the other factors. Some of the early 289 Cobras came with aviate pans, and for various reasons we chose not to use the aviate pan. So this left us with a factory peering pan. One of the oil pan manufacturers that I deal with does some custom work for me, so we had kind of a crank scraper put in here, and we also had trapdoors for cornering and oil control on acceleration and braking. Just a really nice design. So this will be about a 5-quart total system capacity. That can be increased with, you know, AccuSump or something like that if needed to be. But we also had oil temperature bung put in, which is a nice little feature. So this will allow me to put this on the motor, and when I paint the entire engine, I can prime and paint this as well, and it'll look factory. They also sent this nice pickup, custom pickup to go with it. So big diameter and a little square box style pickup, which is really nice. So next, I did have, the distributor didn't show up. I thought it was going to be here today. It was like it'll be here tomorrow or Tuesday, since it's a long weekend. But we had a factory 289 distributor, all rebuilt and recurved and made pretty by Jim Woods. And he does really good work. And he went through the entire thing for me, and we added a steel gear for the roller cam. And I will put up some before pictures right now. And as you can see, it was really crusty when I got it, and rusty and crusty and just dingy looking. And here is the finished version. So Jim really does some really good work, and we put a Protronics conversion in it, and it'll look really nice with a new rotor and distributor cap. All right, so we're going to finish that one up for today, and or that video. I wished I could finish this engine up. I'm sure Nori does too, but we got to be patient on things like this. But we're going to finish this video up today. Hope you guys have a really nice long weekend with a little bit of vacation involved. If you have not, hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss out on any of the cool Ford stuff that we have coming down the pipe. Tell all your friends, and I will do my best to meet your expectations on quality video. How's that? All right, guys, you have a good weekend.